What's going on? I want to make a small video about a small device today. And that's not an insult about this thing. Small things can be great things. But I've been sitting here in the studio with the Rode Streamer X for a couple months now, and my opinions have wildly varied depending on the time. At first I thought it was really cool, then I didn't like it for a little bit, and now I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. Let's get into it. Hey, so the sponsor of today's video not only wants to help you edit your live streams into clips and compilations for free, they also want to give you $25. More on that at the end of this segment. Sizzle.gg is free, and it's a great way to make YouTube highlights and compilations from your YouTube or Twitch streams or just local gameplay with absolutely no editing or software needed. Just sign up for a free account, link it to your Twitch or YouTube channel, and then Sizzle watches and analyzes your stream and uses video and audio cues to find the best moments of your streams and cut them into compilations for you. It's pretty wild. In fact, their software is so sophisticated that you can even filter your highlights by kills, headshots, knockdowns, sniper kills, and victories. When you select one of your live streams for Sizzle to edit for you, you let them know what game you're playing, and then it just does the rest. Then with one click, you can share it straight to social media platforms. Enjoy your free content, helping you reach a larger audience and grow your following. I spend so much time on this channel encouraging you guys to work smarter and not harder, and this is one of those great tools that lets you do that. And as for the $25 giveaway, Sizzle is going to PayPal two of you that sign up for a free account today. It's free money, so go sign up. The link is in the description down below, and start getting some highlights and some clips, and maybe get $25 for whatever you need $25 for. I don't know, skins, battle passes, help with some new gear, whatever you need. But let's get back to the Streamer X. And I'm not gonna talk about specs. There are like 20 videos already talking about that. I just wanna talk about what it is and what it does. Then I wanna talk about 5 of my favorite things about this that make it stand out. And lastly, the most important question, who's it for? Good conclusion, a wrap up. Let me explain my thoughts. But thing number 1, what is this and what does it do? This is like an all-in-one device for streamers and or just regular content creators. It's an audio interface, but that's obvious. It's made by Rode. That's what they make. So it's got a high quality preamp in there for you to plug any microphone, even some high gain microphones like the Shure SM7B. You can plug it in without a cloud lifter. You're totally fine. It's got some interfacing on the front, some volume knobs, even some soft buttons for activating, well, a number of things. We'll get into that. And then also it is a capture card. And that's what surprised me the most, because I still don't know how I feel about combination devices. But you'd be able to plug in a camera, even a 4K camera that's that can capture up to 4K 30 and pass through up to 4K 60, or even a current generation console with high frame rates and variable refresh rates. But that's about as brief of a summary as I can give you. Let's get into my 5 favorite little details. Thing number 1, something that Rode's been doing a lot of lately, and I think is really, really cool, I'm surprised no one else is doing this, is that they have, well, I was gonna say 2, but you can actually see 3 different USB ports. One is power, so we're not going to count that one, but 2 of them are actually USB ports that if you want to use this on a dual PC setup, you can plug them both in USB. No messing around with aux cables going from this line out to this line in and this line out to this line in, and sometimes you need a ground loop noise isolator if you're getting some hiss in there. Like, don't worry about any of that. Just USB both ways, and then it just works. As someone who has used a Rode device on 2 PCs before, it is surprisingly easy to get it taken care of. They just both show up in Unify, the Rode software. So good on you, Rode, for making it easy for those remaining dual PC users. I know there are still a lot of you out there. Thing number 2, the capture card is actually really good. And not only just in like quality, like I watched a bunch of videos of YouTubers that went back and forth between internal capture, which is always gonna be a higher bit rate, and using this to go into OBS, and the colors were almost identical. It's a very high quality capture card. But now I gotta find like all the maximum specs for this. Okay, here we go. So what's supported here? What can pass through here? If you're using like a gaming console and you go through here as a capture device, like what can be used? Hey, Future Harris here. I'd actually previously filmed an entire segment on everything the capture card was capable of doing, and that was a like 2-minute segment of just resolutions. And so instead, here's a table that Rode supplies. This is everything the capture card can do. Pause it, screenshot it, whatever you need, and let's just skip that part and move on to the next part of the video. Thing number 3 is that their Unify software allows you to plug in multiple Rode X devices and merge them into one system. So let's say you're going to stream with a friend, you bring this guy, he brings his Rode XDM100, the dynamic mic. You plug them both into a PC, they both show up in the Rode X software. You can control all of your mixes, you can hear all the same things, but control your volume separately. It's very powerful mixing software, obviously coming from their podcasting background, which is great. Thing number 4, this is where things start to get interesting. This thing has a presentation mode. If you're on a Zoom call and you're sharing your screen, you can turn this thing into something called presentation mode, where the soft buttons become essentially PowerPoint controllers. You see these little arrow buttons here? You can switch between different slides and stuff, and I don't remember what the other pads do, but basically it's pre-configured to control a slideshow for presentations, which might not be what you're watching this for, but I think it's kind of cool. I never learned PowerPoint. There was never a day where I was like, if only I learned PowerPoint. It just never happened. And now the last thing, number 5, this is where it got a little bit beyond me, but these things can output MIDI. And if you've never used MIDI, that might not mean a lot to you, but there's a lot of software that can utilize MIDI. In fact, there is full-on automation software that allows you to capture MIDI buttons and control anything with it. So there's this one video by DSLR Video Shooter where he used that to control his lights, to launch his apps, to text his wife saying he was live streaming, to launch all his streaming apps with a single push of the button due to the MIDI stuff. So if you want to get nerdy on this thing, they made it so you can get nerdy on this thing. But I guess most importantly, who's this for? Like, is someone gonna buy this? And this kind of made me rethink my thought process around streaming gear entirely. I used to be very wary of combo devices like this. Generally, when you combine this thing with this thing, in this case audio and capture, you run into 2 problems. First problem is usually you don't get a great product of either. It's just kind of okay on both ends because you have to make sacrifices on one to fit the other. But I've had to come to terms with the fact that I don't use gear the way a lot of other people use gear. Like I use this for a couple minutes and I was like, I can't control my music volume, my game volume, my team volume, my microphone volume all separately. And I have to remember that not everybody wants to do that, and that's okay. As someone who runs a gear channel, I'm so used to picking up a piece of gear, or in this case, thank you Rode, they sent me this piece of gear, trying it for a little bit, then combining it with this piece, and then upgrading this piece to this piece. I spend so much time swapping out gear that something that's just kind of an all-included thing stresses me out a little bit because it's so unflexible. But really what Rode made here is an end-all device. For the people who don't need all that crazy audio stuff, they just want to make content, they just want to go live, and they want something that does everything at about, I'd say an 8. This thing is fantastic. Great audio quality, great video quality, great control. You can even plug in a wireless microphone, the Rode Go or the Rode Me, I think is the other one. And you can connect that to this for like wireless lav. It does just about everything that an above average user might need. So just to give an example, I can not only plug it in and use it for streaming, but let's say I use a camera that has a 30-minute record limit on it. Well, I can plug it into this. Now I can use my microphone and my camera for Zoom calls, but I can also record in OBS my videos as long as I want. And now I have my live streams, my Zoom calls, and my YouTube videos taken care of by a single device. And while it's not something I'm gonna be adding to my main setup anytime soon, I do sometimes travel to my parents' place for a week or 2. This might be the thing that I bring. Like if I ever wanted to go somewhere for an extended period of time and do anything, I can't think of a better setup than this one that I've currently got. So look, combo devices have their place. Some people, this is not even an option for them, and I get that. And for some people, this is exactly what they're looking for. So take a thought. Is that a thing people say? It's a thing I said. It's a thing we're gonna say. Take a thought. Let me know in the comments down below. If you don't have any thoughts on it, just leave an emoji, because you've been watching this long. Just give me some engagement, help the video out, and hit the like button while you're down there, because you obviously like the video. You're still watching. Hope you found this helpful at all, and as always, happy streaming.